Let's look at
Hey
this.
people, Seth here. To address some allegations, I'd like to ask a simple question. Are you really upset because I was on the flight logs? Or are you upset because you were never invited? Fantastic Dizzy is a game which,
Never
unlike the
invited.
highly optimized projects of today, is less than 800 kilobytes and fits on a floppy with room to spare. It's a DOS game, so we play it on DOSBox. It's
A DOS game? Bro, how far back are we going?
It's a tale older than time. You are an egg called Dizzy, and your egg girlfriend has been kidnapped. Save her before she gets groomed by the vaguely Arabic-looking wizard. Along the way, solve puzzles by using the right item. You can only hold 3, and the only way to
An egg,
reshuffle them
you
is
say?
by dropping them on the ground. It's a simple system, but it's an adventure game, so everything is an insane leap of logic. Deadly spikes, Persian rug, burning fireplace, bucket of water, which looks exactly the same as the empty bucket of water. that
How
has
the
to be dropped.
wait, this game looks kind of insane for its time. Wait, what? Fantastic Dizzy. There's no way this game came out that long ago. Fantastic. This looks kind of crazy. It came out in 1991. I've never heard of
The
this.
same as the empty bucket of water, but has to be dropped into a specific pool of water to become the bucket of water, or else
Ooh,
it doesn't work. and you have to
revolutionary.
backtrack all the way to the graveyard. Also, because you're an egg, you roll like an egg. This can filter a lot of people.
Can
as
you
you'll
crack?
roll into enemies. The Yolked village is infested by spiders and snails, while the city is overrun by shape-shifting Hasidics. But none of these are as bad as the butterflies, which do no damage, but stun lock you long enough that you die by something else, as evidenced by the fact that he is healed not only by eating fruit, but by the mere presence of precious stones. Dizzy is a Semitic life form, and Grandpa Dizzy is probably some kind of century egg, which explains why he has to live in hiding out of fear
It's
of
just
becoming an
great.
Asian man's delicacy. The objective of this game is to collect 250 stars that lag your screen each time they appear.
Perfect.
This is the intended experience, as increasing your CPU cycles will make the extra life minigame impossible, as the hourglass is tied to your clock speed. These stars are non-negotiable, and you can't finish the game without them. Some are sadistically placed, and you can't get to them except by falling in a particular manner from several screens away, let alone know of their existence. At some point, the game even expects you to trick shot yourself against butterflies to get the final stars, while platforming on a series of clouds that sink the longer you put weight on them. But
That
that's
is
late
cool.
game. Early game is getting filtered by the minecart.
Like, I'm looking at these. What the? If this came in 1991, isn't this like super revolutionary? Why is this game not talked about more? Like the sinking mechanic and everything else, I feel like this is kind of nuts. This game is, it looks insane. Wait, what?
the longer you put weight on them, but that's late game. Early
Who
game
made
is
this?
getting filtered by the minecart, which boils down to a single
Sega?
strategy. Guessing. You guessed
No.
wrong, you get splatted. Or in my case, you take the wrong exit and get stuck on a beach. At the time, I didn't realize you could take the entrance back to the mine and drown in the ocean. Then I came back after the bubble riding minigame and got filtered all over again because I brought my aqua lung, but no flippers, and I couldn't swim out of the bottom cavern. Dizzy has taught me that I haven't progressed very much as an adult, and I'm struggling with an hour-long video game that's old enough to be the child bride that
Because consoles still reign supreme and it's a bit of niche. It was on Sega Genesis, Nintendo Entertainment System, DOS, Amiga, MS-DOS, Game Gear, Amiga. It was on consoles. Codemaster made this. Camelon Software. Oliver Twins. Okay.
giving birth to me. At least the music is nice. In general, this is a
Codemaster
very
kinda
nice
just
game that you
disappeared?
could show your grandma. It's not some NTR RPG Maker
they
slop
make?
that would surely break her pacemaker. In the end, you fight the wizard. He's not very good at magic, but he has a mirror.
Number of employees in 2019 for Codemaster is 700. They have 700 employees. No, wait, Codemaster is kind of big still. I've seen this logo before.
Which is good at reflecting magic.
work for
He's turned to stone
Electro
and
Arts.
dies,
Oh, they
presumably as an
EA bought him?
involuntary celibate. Your
Oh.
reward is a kiss from your fair maiden, which I
Yeah.
think is reward
Parent-
enough. Recently, I had an epiphany. I cover many games
Okay, we're
where
getting
I have a
sidetracked.
script. I have footage, but it's not long enough to justify a full video. Then I realized The title of the video doesn't have to be accurate. So, I have no lack of content, which is important when I'm committed to giving sponsors the lowest quality for the highest rate of return. There are free things I value.
I think it's really sad to see people get sponsored for it. Like, they get thousands of dollars and they look like they are suffering doing their sponsor. I feel like sponsors should be like an opportunity for creator to really go wacky with it and be fun. And they should be like, people should make sponsors for viewers more interesting. Because whenever the streamers seem, or the content creators seem suffered, like whenever they seem like they hate absolutely everything about it, it makes a bad experience for the viewers themselves. I love whenever a couple streamers and a couple YouTuber get sponsors, because they go all out and have a blast with it. Script reading is the worst in my opinion. Yeah, whenever you're having fun, like whenever you're like doing a little bit of like, whenever you're like really putting your all into it, that's what you should be doing. And that's what's really fun whenever you have a sponsor, because you're just being silly. Just having a good time, let them go wild. Yeah, a lot of sponsors are actually not that strict about those things though. They have like, I'm gonna be real, a little bit of the curtain, but like they tell you to have some form of script, but they give you, it is more of a suggestion than you have to say this. You know what I mean? It's more of like a suggestion if you don't want to say it yourself in your own way. You need to inform about these things, but you don't have to say it like reading a script. You just have to add it. But most of the people are just lazy about it. Lazy. People should go all out on the sponsor to make it more entertaining, because damn, they're getting a fat bag. At least you can seem like you love the thing.
In this life, my mother, my data,
Ooh.
and your mother. You know who else loves these things? Data brokers. Remember, everything you do online can be traced directly to your IP address via your service
is
provider.
it a VPN?
But they wouldn't sell your personal information to governments and private companies just
Surely
for a
you
quick
wouldn't.
buck, would they? Data brokers
Seth would
use this
sell your personal
to piece
information
together
for
what kind of
$2
person
instantly.
you are and sell you ads. Just last week, I googled one C++ tutorial. I now own 6 pairs of programming socks. I don't even know how it happened. Such is the horror of a dreaded data broker.
Ooh.
How did they know it was me? Because in one brief moment of
Didn't use the
foolish
incognito
weakness,
mode.
I forgot to turn on ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN masks your digital footprint and stops those pesky brokers in their tracks. And it's not just brokers.
The pair Beetlebot.
Ask yourself,
Has Beetle ever done a reveal of himself?
To browse all your favorite content. Is it your mom? My mom?
Bro,
Wi-Fi you use to browse all your favorite content.
This shit still cracks me up. This was the dumbest shit I've ever seen, man. Whenever he put the damn emoji on top of his fucking cock, that was something.
Is it your mom? My mom? Your boss? Perhaps your local public library. Well, if you and your waifu keep having these not-so-secret rendezvous on their Wi-Fi, they can still see everything, even in incognito mode.
They will find
now,
your Discord
mother
kitten.
will disown you. Your boss will garnish your wages, and the library will revoke your card. Now, your JoJo library date is canceled. But Seth, I hear you cry. All this computational back and forth sounds really complicated. Not to worry, my friend. ExpressVPN does all the hard work for you. Just turn it on, hit one button, and voila. All your network traffic is sent through a secure encrypted
That's
tunnel.
a lot of Yakuza picture there, Seth.
1 billion years to
I like
crack.
it.
Find out how you can get free months of ExpressVPN for free by visiting expressvpn.com
Just one punch.
or by clicking the link in the description below. What if I told you an action RPG released 2005 that's over 19 years old had fully working multiplayer until recently when some corporate goon came in
Bobby
and ordered the unpaid intern.
I think we're gonna miss Bobby in Activision, man. We're gonna miss Bobby, but I hope Bobby comes back. We need Bobby back
to manually disable the multiplayer button. That's not a joke. They're just that petty. The latest copy of Dungeon Siege 2 on Steam presents you with a menu where the multiplayer is grayed out. So, naturally, people reverse engineered.
Are we talking about a different game now? What happened?
We managed to finish the whole campaign.
What happened to the egg game?
The most premium gaming platform. It's old, it's scuffed, and it plays adverts that can be blocked by editing your System32 host file. But guess what? It has charm. This game infects my consciousness. There's quotes from
He's doing another game
burned into my brain.
Those must be the Bracken we learned about as children. Let's take them out.
It's the bait to switch the video. Oh my god, I was actually kind of liked that game.
Tough. These wooden creatures are weak to fire. Too bad I'm not a combat mage. These Kestrel are tough. Next time we see one use.
Can you imagine being the voice actor making this voice? Like, imagine screaming like this for hours. That must be so tiresome on your... Holy.
Brutal attack power on it. That'll surprise them.
The story is very simple. You and your friend Drevin enlist
Don't
in
have to worry,
PMC
right?
Ragnar. Before dying, he gives you his magical plot armor amulet.
We have completed our
Drix, do you
task.
want a mod
When can we expect our
and have 17 mod?
Look out!
And then he dies. The rest doesn't really matter. You don't have to pay attention. Just kill things and have a good time.
Oh my lord, I don't care. Wait,
An age ago,
Wait,
Zeram.
I skipped
don't care.
Anyway, we get captured as war criminals because we attacked a UNESCO heritage site. Understandably, the Dryades don't like us.
Bob
and
is
they
gonna
put
enjoy his
good
time
boy
working for the
compliance
government once
collars on
Trump
all the
wins.
prisoners. One of them makes a
Can you imagine that? Oh my... Can you imagine Trump winning and then you see Bobby just slowly walking in the back and stand there on this, like... Just stand there on top of the stage with him? Bro... That would be interesting. Vice President Bobby. Oh, holy, that would be interesting.
break for it, which isn't very smart.
Yeah, sure.
On the other hand, you did enlist as a mercenary for people who
Good
look
luck,
like this.
Trix.
They say, don't judge a book by its cover. I say, physicality reflects inner state, and all the most horrible people I've ever encountered look like something that escaped the mines of Moria. The prison warden gives you a chance to prove yourself by burning down a bunch of Morden watchtowers. This is one of several situations in this game where you have to think. Don't worry, there's not many. There's also not much dialogue in this game, except for Daru. Daru never stops talking, and she will begin her monologue in the middle of a fight. For this reason, I always recommend putting Daru in your party because it's very entertaining to get wiped by a dialogue box. This game can be quite intense. I'm not kidding when I say it's about 1-2 taps and you're dead. Free if you're a tank, and even a trash mob encounter can leave your party dead.
I'm gonna be real. This ain't looking good.
So it's important to have a plan, build, or idea of what you're doing, which we did not. You level up by doing damage of a particular affinity, melee, ranged, combat, or nature magic, and you can mix and match freely. Don't like your mage?
I wish that more RPGs kept the old talent system. I don't know. I feel like the old talent system in games are always enjoyable in RPGs. I always love it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm fucking old. I'm not really old, but maybe because I used to play all these old RPGs in the past and played WoW on the launch. Maybe that's why I love it so much. But I feel like it makes it more interesting to be able to like change your build and sort of navigate and have a little bit of variety of choices. I don't know.
A sword. Don't like your fighter? Take a bow.
Baldur's Gate 2.
There's
I've never
nothing
played
stopping
Baldur's
you
Gate
from
2 or 1.
leveling every single tree
Baldur's Gate 3
except
though, that was a
free
good
time
one.
and practicality. And there's
Dreamer
no limitation
RPGs
on
is
what
amazing.
any
It's
of your characters
fun!
can be. Did my
It's
friend have to level
fun!
Tar as a combat mage? No, but it's funny. The Broken Worlds expansion adds
all that
two
matters.
hybrid classes, Fist of Stone and Blood Assassin. One of these
Ooh.
sucks ass. The other one lets nature
Sucking
mages have
ass?
more armor than the tank. If you find yourself dying, just
sounds
get
like a
more
good
armor.
class.
There is no other statistic that matters for the average
What is
player.
this, Diablo
Leveling
2?
an affinity lets you put skill points in that tree, and certain combinations unlock powers. Powers win fights. Everything else is irrelevant. It's just filler until you use powers again. You charge them up by doing damage, and you release them when you want dopamine. The first difficulty curve is taking the elevator, as you will likely split your party in half, and then one of us is going to pull the lever again, and we're going to repeat the whole process.
You know, it's not your fault. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, well, wait, don't worry.
Okay, get off. Yeah, get off the fucking. Well,
This game is entirely about budgeting because the main thing you
Forehead.
spend money on is potions, and you must make an informed decision. Do I buy the regular potion for my level that heals fast for however much money, or the weakest, shittiest potion for
The
15
weakest,
gold?
shittiest
The
potion.
answer is always the shittiest potion, and then you fill every single tile of your inventory with health and mana potions.
Because
Quick
then you can
spoiler,
spam
melee
those.
and ranged do
More
damage.
value.
Nature and combat do the same damage at the same rate, but they cost mana. So if you're relying on magic for damage, go back. Don't do that. Also, do not ever try to alt-tab this game. It can't handle it, and you're gonna lose
Oh,
your save.
God.
However, I have room temperature
I'm gonna be honest. I can't play games that doesn't allow me to alt tab. That is not like full screen borderless. Because without thinking, I'll alt tab and click on a different like tab or something like that. And if it breaks the entire game, there's no shot. No way I can play
I'm
this.
conditioned like a Pavlovian
Hi,
dog.
Flash.
But each time I hear that Discord notification, I am compelled to tab out and ruin everything. Proceeding with the story, you get told that you have the plague, and you should probably seek treatment from an elvish shrine. This does nothing because the plague is actually caused by shard souls, which are the spirits of aborted
ADHD
NBA
victim.
players
Oh,
haunting
no!
the Planned Parenthood. No one can see them except for your party, and you're already
I don't have
immune
ADHD.
because of Draven's amulet.
I
There's
feel
nothing
like I would. You know what? Is it weird to wishing to have ADHD? Because I feel like, bro, people are fucking like content creators that have ADHD are probably the majority of them, and they just never shut up, and I love it. I love it, man. Looking at like Queso and like Jinxie, just seeing how they just keep yapping and yapping and yapping is like an absolute talent. Like, look at XQC. When the hell does that guy shut up? It's amazing.
to do. We take
That guy
the road
still
home.
owes me
Along
gold
the
in
way,
Classic
we meet
WoW.
an old man who is definitely not the game's antagonist. He
It's a
tells
big
us
boon,
we need
it's
to
a
stop
massive boon.
Doomsday by reforging the exact thing responsible for Doomsday and bringing
All
it
I got is
directly
fucking
to
coffee.
the enemy leader. This is why we don't pay attention to the plot, the lore, or any kind of writing in this game. This is hack and slash. This is ADHD.
I have reached a point with a lot of games that I'll give the story a solid like 30 minutes or 1 hour. And if it's boring as hell, I'm just going to start skipping and just play the game if the game is fun. If the game is boring, I just quit. Because I feel like a lot of games nowadays just have such trash stories. It's never engages and it's never interesting. And I'll be honest, I think the Soul series have in a way it has impacted me. I know that Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne impacted my view on games for such a long time, and it still does, because that game never really stops that much, right? There's not many cinematics you look at. There's not that many people you talk to or a lot of dialogue you listen to. You just go and go. And I feel like I cannot manage anymore to play boring stories or stories that are super dragged on for long, or games that are very like just honestly just shit, or just don't really have that much going around it. I don't know. I feel like once you played masterpieces, it's hard to go back.
in its purest form since we gave
So much
up
good stuff,
being
no need.
hunter-gatherers.
I mean,
Anyway,
let's take a game I actually enjoy nowadays. It's not amazing, but it's fun. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. That game is fun. Monster Hunter World. That game is fun. Lost Epoch. That game is fun. But the story, the talking, it's so bad. It's so boring. So I just like skip through all of it. I just can't even bother looking at it. I love the Tekken story. I have never watched the Tekken story.
Bodies, finding nothing.
Last Tekken game I played was on PlayStation 2. So long since I played Tekken, but I've always loved Tekken like characters. I don't know, Tekken is the first fighting game I had, so I always loved Tekken.
Else, they all dash into a snake, and we get our first boss fight, which is
PlayStation
enjoyable
2.
because it's all downhill from here. I'm gonna skip around a bunch because, honestly, this game is defined by its boss fights. Everything in between is relatively straightforward and not worth mentioning. The next boss fight is a Dark Wizard. These are mortal men that have forsaken humanity by adding extra jaws to the side of their face. Originally, I was going to joke about this, but as I wrote the words
The last PlayStation I
in my
remember was
script
4.
document, I
How
felt
old
deeply
are you?
disgusted with myself and took a cold shower. It took us over
Boomers.
an hour to kill him. This
Yeah,
is
I had PlayStation
easily
2.
the place where most people get filtered, because every one of his attacks will one-shot you, and one of them doesn't even have a projectile. It's just hit scan, and you're dead. You have to break down each part of his shield barrier to actually damage him, and then he can just recast it. And once you get him down to 1/3 of his health, he starts summoning his crystal. This is a DPS check that you have to
Mechanics.
save all your powers for and focus the moment it
Wait,
goes
this is
up. Because if
cool.
you don't, it kills everyone on the map, regardless of distance. And after destroying it, you have approximately 5 seconds before he summons another. Next up
It's
is a
so
dragon. You have to
boring,
shoot with a
Slicky.
ballista while avoiding hordes of infinitely spawning crabs. If he goes in the air, he rains down fire that burns you.
So I'm
the
like wondering, how do all of these amazing games just go under the radar? How have I never heard about this game before?
crabs, and more importantly, the ballista. This temporarily overheats the controls. However, the fight glitched, and the ballista was
Hey,
now
do you have a
permanently
PlayStation
disabled.
5?
Half an hour into this, I wasn't planning on reloading the game.
I still haven't touched my PlayStation 5. Can you believe that? I've owned the PlayStation 5 for like 6 months now, soon, or 4 months. I think it's 4 months. I've not done anything on it. I need to buy like something soon and play something on stream because fucking hell, I've not done shit.
Gambled on the idea that I could reset the object state by getting the dragon to cook the controls. And it turned out that worked exactly as
2005.
planned, except this is a 2-stage boss fight, and now we have to fight its bloodied head in a narrow hallway with no cover. Objectively, we have been filtered.
Oh, that
and
makes
yet,
sense,
with
Milk.
everyone lying unconscious on the floor, we killed the dragon. How? Because for some reason, his second phase never actually kills you. And my nature mage, who was knocked out on the floor getting
People
cooked
playing
by
WoW to this
fireballs,
fight.
was wearing
True.
a single piece of clothing with damage reflect that chunked the dragon's health for
One
each
day we
bit
got to
of
talk
damage.
about how everybody got
Essentially,
into
he died to
WoW.
a pair of slippers. What can I even
Dude,
say?
this is cool.
We almost lost the first phase to a glitch, and we won the second with an exploit. A pleasant surprise, but usually it gets better before it gets worse. And we're no longer heading downhill because we've reached the bottom. Misery has 2 definitions: borderline personality and fighting free dark wizards at the same time.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough. Okay,
Base
never mind.
Dave.
It's over.
That's
I
nice
don't
of you,
know
though.
if I can describe the incomprehensible pain of childbirth in a retarded position where you're fighting
Pregnant
gravity,
men.
but I'll try describing something much worse.
Bro, what the
Imagine giving
what are these videos? Where do you
retarded
get this
position where
shit?
you're fighting gravity, but I'll try
MatPat a freak for this. God damn, MatPat. Holy.
describing something much worse. Imagine giving a boss the ability to cast a delayed explosion.
This man
at your
has a
character's
talent.
feet. Now make it spammable and make it affect everyone on screen. And if your characters are already dead, target them anyway. The problem of this fight isn't the free boss
4chan?
spamming insta-kill
Ooh.
area of effect attacks. The problem is that the
I haven't been on
animation
4chan in
to
so
get
long.
up from being dead is longer than the animation that kills you. So that if you die in this fight, I cannot revive you, because the second I do, you get one shot. If not by the explosion, then by the billion insta-kill projectile beams that can clip an entire party. This fight didn't just break us, it broke the whole game. It went on for so long that eventually the game started to randomly pause, unpause, and desynchronize. Spells and
Memory
areas
leak.
stop rendering, and eventually everything just grinded to a halt and crashed. So
Nice.
we rage quit the game for a week, and then we got them on a second try in only half the time. I'm convinced most of my
It's always like that. I remember every boss I'm usually like stuck on. Whenever I take a break and come back a few days later, I just like kill it on first or second try. It's insane.
subconscious psyche was dedicated to training for the rematch, because I came back with reflex and strategy that I didn't know I had. If you can take out just one,
What is
'cause I
going
came
on in
back
this clip? Can that shit explode?
with reflex and strategy that I didn't know I had. If you can
Garnet
take out
left is
just
just
one of them,
dancing.
the entire fight becomes much more tolerable. The last fight of the game is pretty okay. I don't expect you to have any trouble. You have to kill Valdis, who is normally invincible. However, this fight takes place in Baoshan Steel Limited, and the lack of workplace safety can work to your advantage.
You got it.
Thank God. I was gonna kill myself if I rage quit.
Then we tried the Broken World expansion.
I know all this. I'm not some child who...
Concentrate.
What the fuck
You
is
must
this?
focus if you want to learn.
Dude, this sucks.
And spoiler, it's complete dog shit. Turns out there's a good reason it's not sold anywhere online. Skip that shit. There's nothing good about it. In summary, I thoroughly recommend Dungeon Siege 2. It will test your friendship, and it will either wither away into ash because you are not pure of heart, or cement and grow stronger.
Those
Because
are some
one
big
day,
men.
You will play a competitive MOBA together, and if you're not prepared for that, you're going to be calling each other ethnic slurs for the last time, because your e-friendship is over. You can play with up to 4 players. It's incredibly fun. I'll try and include instructions on how to patch the game in the description below, but in case this is not accurate, skill issue, figure it out. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
Dude, I
I've been
haven't
reading
played
a lot of
Dark and
comments
Darker in
saying,
so long.
"Lol, Seth isn't uploading. He's busy digging tunnels under the synagogue." These jokes hurt my feelings and caused me to self-harm. A warm thanks to the many members of Merchants Guild generously funding
Leave
and
him
bankrolling
alone.
these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
These are some amazing fucking games. Like, even the egg game, I'm kind of astonished of, but this one, this game right here, if it will load, but this is something very impressive. Like, seeing all of these mechanics and boss fights is interesting. I feel like if we ever reached a point, like, my backlog is insane with video games. But I feel like looking at this, I think that would be a really good time to play with your homies. Like just going back and playing this, because it doesn't look that bad. That's what I love about some of these dated games, is that I really love like pixel games and some dated games, because they don't feel like super old. I don't know. I feel like this is charming. It's a new aesthetic. It's like an old aesthetic that kind of never will get boring. I love it. There's a lot of games to play with your homies. Yeah, I gotta get into Helldiver soon. Holy, it's a good ass video. I love that. Jesus, especially from the early 2000s. Are there a lot of good games in the early 2000s to play with your homies? I feel like most games in the past were more like couch games and single player games. They're not really that multiplayer games. I don't know. I feel like overall, like thinking about my memories, that I don't remember many online games, because online games were still like a pretty new thing. It wasn't really touched upon too much. Neverwinter Night is amazing co-op. Ooh, I've heard that. Hi Moon, how you doing? But yeah, that was a good ass video. I love that. Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe. I'll post videos nearly every day, so if you want to watch any more reactions, feel free to subscribe and I'll see you there.